All right. Now, family, this right here is designed to definitely get you going. We're in Cybersecurity Training Part 2. Banking in the Box. Coming to you live from Diversity Holdings, Diversity Trust, Spellbound Media and Entertainment. And this information is designed to put you on the cutting edge of technology and protecting your private banking platform because we're going to be employing and deploying what we call ethical hacking. And ethical hacking is designed to secure that syntactical trust space that you have so eloquently put into play. So without further ado, keep listening because if you listen long enough, you're definitely going to learn something.
Well, I wanna let you know my mind is made up and I wanna go. And I've been thinking about what to do. Been thinking about me, about being you.
Are there any exploits that be used to attack these? Or maybe you'd have to do more scanning and enumeration to know. So, but that's it, guys. If you guys want to ask questions about this or anything in particular, I'm going to open it up. We actually finished 20 minutes early for AMA. So that's all I've got for you in terms of Linux for this week. And remember, this is just introductory Linux. You think? So let's save this and run it again. Okay, so you can see it counted here with the length. It's got 27 on this string. All is fair in love and war. So you can see it put it all in caps, all in lowercase, and then it titled it here for us as well, which capitalizes every first letter. It's not perfect. It's not like the official titling system, but if you need every first letter capitalized, for some reason you might be able to use it. I don't know when you would use title. That's a great question. I have no idea. I've never used title. But it's cool little thing to know. Alright, let's do another variable. Let's set your name as a variable here. So we'll just say Heath. And then we'll say age. Okay, I'm 29. Remember, this is an integer. Right? It also can look like this. Int of 29. If we wanted to declare it as an integer, int of 29. Okay, let's say that my grade point average in college was a 3.7. Now, why are we doing this? Because this is a float, or it could look something like this, float 3.7. Hey, thanks, Shu, for the subs, man. I appreciate that. You're awesome. Okay, so we've got these three here, right? We've got three different variables we've got set. Now, we can go ahead and print some things. Let's just say, let's print the integer of my age, right? That should return 29 because that's the int. But if we print the integer of my age, say I'm 29.9 years old, right? If we print that out, what is that going to return? Let's take a look at it. Up one. It's actually going to return 29. So you think here that it would round up, but integer does not round. It just takes the first number and leaves off the rest after the decimal. So just keep that in mind going forward as well. We can say a little note next to it. Just say does not round, right? We can also call out, in a print statement, we can call out our variables. So if you want to say print, my name is, make sure to add a space, and then say plus name, and then you could say space, and I am space. Now we could say age, and say years old. Now this statement is not going to work. Does anybody know why this isn't going to work. There's something here that is not like the rest. You have to convert to a string. Exactly, string versus int. Good job, guys. You don't even need this lesson. You guys are too good. Alright, so our age is sitting here and it's an integer. We can't put an integer in a string. We're going to have to actually convert this to a string. We'll just say string. You cannot have different types, exactly. So we can see what this looks like. My name is Heath and I am 29 years old. Cool. So a few other things we can do. I'm going to go ahead and just add in a little new line here. Okay. Some things that we can use to play around with here. So let's say we have age. And let's say that I got a little bit older. I can say that I got older a year. And if we printed this age, that would now make me 30. We can prove that by a quick save and run. Okay, now age is set to 30. So two things that we're noticing here. One is the obvious, right? With the plus equals, we're adding something into what's already there. So we are adding a 1 into this age. Now I am 30. Also, that means we are changing the variable itself, right? So we are going to be changing the variable. It's no longer 29. It does not always hold true to 29. Now it's holding to 30. So we've appended the variable. So we could also do, though, something like birthday is equal to 1. And you could say age plus equals birthday. And if you printed age here, I would now be 31. We are going to be going over functions. We're going to hit functions pretty hard, and functions are coming up next. So, actually, that is it for this little section. We're actually going to hit functions right now. So good timing on that question. So we can save this, just prove out that we've hit 30 and 31, which we did. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to dive into functions. So let's go ahead and just print out a new line again. We'll call this function. We are doing an AMA after this, yes. There will always be an AMA. I need a drink, so give me 1 second, guys. Talking too much. Okay. So now with a function, when we talk about functions, we talk about doing something for us. We're talking about a whole line of code in one defined area that we can call back at a later time. So if we're doing something repeatedly in our code, it would be better to actually just write a function for that, and so that we can just write that code one time and call the function later or repeatedly that we need to, than to write out this code block and have a long code for no reason. So that's kind of the point of functions, and it's going to make a little bit more sense here in a second. So let's print out, let's say now some functions. Okay, so we're going to say define, we're going to call this who am I? And now this is where everything comes into play, where it comes into spacing, syntax, tabs. This is something that's very, very particular to Python. So we're going to hit enter and we're going to hit tab. Make sure to hit tab or else your program won't work correctly. Make sure you also have the colon as well. So we're going to say name equals Heath, similar to before. Age equals 29. And then we're going to print the same thing from earlier. I'm just going to copy and paste it all into one. Okay. So now we can call the function with just saying, who am I? Like that, right? So if we save this and print it out, let's see if anything happens. Okay, it returned the function. So what happened is we declared a variable, we declared another variable, and then we printed something out. Then when we called this function, everything inside of it happened. So what this means is everything that lives inside this function stays inside this function, and that'll become more apparent as we go. If I were to call, if I were to set the name, okay, let's call this name1, and we'll make this same here. We don't have a name1 variable anywhere, right? So let's just say print name1. We say save, and then we try to print. There's not a name1 defined because name1 actually resides in the function itself. So make sure that you know that. If you're declaring a variable for the first time here, and it resides in your function, it's only in your function. And thanks for those of you who are helping with the code that understand it. I don't have time with as much as we've got to cover to answer everybody's questions, so I really appreciate you guys helping out with those questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete this print name1. We don't need that. So we can actually also call parameters, right? So let's take a look at what a parameter might look like. And we'll just put a little tag up here that says adding in parameters. Okay, and we're going to define a new function. And this is going to be really simple. This function is going to be called add100. And we're going to say the parameter is called num. And what we're going to do is we're going to print a number, that parameter num plus 100. And that's it. So our function, all we're doing is we're giving it a number and we're going to add 100 to it. So it's a very, very simple little program here. Like somebody said, it's a mini program. That's really what it is. Okay, so now if we call in add 100 and we call 100, it's going to be 200. Right? Let's print it and find out. We still have name1 somewhere. Where did I put it? In the string? I took it out of there. Try it again. See, now we're at 200. Okay, so just think about these as little mini programs. We can also add in, though, you can add in multiple parameters. So what if we define something like add x and y? And then we just wanted to print out x plus y. Okay, now we've got a little addition program, right? Not to say that Python doesn't already do it, but this is just for proof of concept. Let's add 7 plus 7, and let's add 305 plus 207. I don't know. And not with the plus sign, with a comma. Okay, so we've got that. We got 14, which is correct, and we got 512, which is correct. So we can also use something, this whole time now we've been using something called print, right? But we can also do something called return, where we return the value and we store it for later. So let's talk about using that. We'll say using return. Okay, so let's say